Got it.
Cool. So welcome to Lucy Townsley's Women's Health, and today I'm joined by the amazing Helen Carrigan. And Helen runs a lovely country house down in Feathered in County Tipperary. She has weddings there and does music, all sorts of different kinds of events you run at that house. And I've known Helen for a really long time, and I met her this summer when we were out of lockdown, and she was telling me she knew that I helped women going through menopause, so we had a good old chat about it. And she's really kindly said she would talk to us today about how she's coping with menopause, what's happening in her life, you know, with her running a business and, you know, everyday things that are happening. So this is what I think would be so great for you to have a listen to. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, because I'm going to have other amazing people on with their stories as well to encourage us and keep us going through everyday lives type of thing. Okay, so welcome, Helen. Lovely to have you here.
Thanks, Lucy. Gosh, I every time I meet you, I go, God, your smile is incredible. Always has been since I met you way back in 1991 was when I met you first, I think, yeah. So, and gosh, our lives have gone in different directions, but you know, thank God we're all healthy and well for the most part. Yeah.
For the most part. So when we were chatting in the summer, you were telling me, it was so great to see you because I hadn't seen you for such a long time, and like everyone I hadn't seen for so long. But you were telling me then of the difficulties that you were going through. Well, actually, what triggered it was the Joe Duffy show. And you had written a letter into Joe Duffy describing some of the symptoms that you were, some of the symptoms you were having with menopause. So I'll let you describe what's happening.
Yeah, just all I ask, Lucy, is that you rein me in if I waffle off in another direction, because I'm obviously still on that journey, you know, and I know that I have a long way to go. But what I'm just so grateful for, in particular since that Joe Duffy show, was, oh my God, I'm not on my own. And huge. I also realized, thanks to the bravery of those women who shared their stories, and the knowledge of Dr. Lundy in particular, the lady doctor who specializes in menopause, it enlightened me that, you know, my menopause didn't start in 2013 one night when I woke up in a pool of sweat. You know, by the way, I didn't know at that time what was going on. All I knew is that I was absolutely soaking wet, drowned, got out of the bed, stripped myself, had a shower, got back into bed, and, you know, shared that with a lady who was coming in as part of a Reiki group for the weekend. And she said, oh, welcome to the club. And I was there, what club? And then I went, oh my God, she means the menopausal club.
What age were you when that happened?
That was 2013. I'm now 56. So I think I was about, I was going to say 57. That'll tell you. I think it was about 47.
Okay.
You know, around that thing. I'd have to work it out. But, you know, so I thought, yeah, gosh, is this it? But I was still getting my monthly then. I hadn't noticed any real change. Maybe I wasn't getting it as regular as I was, but from 2013 right up until today, you know, my energy levels dropped. You would have known me years ago, Lucy. I was out nearly every night. I played the game both sides of the equator. Like, I burned the candle both ends. I was known for being, or at least I like to think that I was known for being full of energy. My energy just went.
Gosh, that's quite shocking. That would have been quite shocking for you, actually.
Yeah, and I would have been used to, just like you, getting up really early in the morning, because we always had animals or horses and things like that. So there was no such thing as a sleep in Clonacody. So I was always an early bird. All of a sudden, I was struggling to get out of the bed in the morning. I also started to struggle to sleep well. But
what happened with your sleep? What happened with your sleep?
It was erratic insofar as that I'd have to get up and pee not once, but maybe twice during the night. And then, you know, I would wake up hot, wet, from just under my chest to the back of my neck, not down to my tippy toes, but my hair. You know, it was just this horrible feeling of being wet and dirty. Because sweat it's not that it's dirt, but I mean, you tend to think, I need to have a shower. Mm-hmm. I can't get dressed the next morning having not showered, even though I might have showered the night before. But then it got to the stage, and I used to love my bath as well, that no, I no longer wanted a bath before I went to bed, because psychologically that would heat me up too much. I was trying to keep myself cool, you know, and I've heard loads of women. I, by the way, as regards, I knew this was part of the menopause, you know, this flipping the duvet over and back constantly, taking the duvet completely off even, and just lying there buck naked, you know what I mean? And then maybe still waking up, you know, falling asleep, but still waking up drowned, you know, and then cold, because then I didn't have any sheets on me or a duvet on me. It was just, I just kind of got on with it. There was no point talking about it. I was just like, oh God, not again, that kind of thing. But then it was.
Why didn't you talk about it? Was it just because it was? Do you feel it was just a subject that's not talked about?
I'm quite open. I think you know that.
Yeah.
Because I have isolated myself, partly because of the business I'm in. It was in hospitality. It was tough going. When we opened, we went into a recession. So I found that my connection with my friends had dissipated. Do you know what I mean? I wasn't, no, like you said, we met up at a horse trials during the summer. That was flipping bliss. I hardly, you know, I was so wrapped up in keeping on top of the bills, the debts, that I just didn't have time to talk about it too. And if I had met you back in 2013, relaxed and out, it would have come up in conversation, and I would have been quite open to say it, you know, cheapest Jack.
So do you think that stress, an element of stress, like you said, with business, you know, running a business in a recession, do you think that element came into how you felt through, you know, with not sleeping, night sweating?
Yeah, it definitely. I definitely believe that stress and how you live your life, what you eat, your routine every day, that definitely will dictate how you actually feel and function. So for a lot, I'd forgotten about me and looking after me. I was aware that yes, I was going through the menopause, but it was a recession. I had health insurance 1 minute. I decided I had to cut. Those are one of the things that I had to cut out of my expenses. And then I suppose I live in a lovely place, blah, blah, blah. So, but I'm fur coat, no knickers. I don't qualify for a medical card. So then there were things like, when it came to the energy, I thought, geez, I'll go into the GP, right? And I just said, my energy levels are on the floor. Can you give me something? And so she did my bloods. And she said, oh, we'll text. My bloods were, I think they were fine, to be honest. But she said,
didn't show menopause signs or anything.
No.
And that's quite common, actually. Sorry, I'm interrupting you. That's quite common. Quite a lot of women in their late 40s go in and get their bloods done, and they go, no, you're not in menopause, it's fine. Yeah. And they send you off.
Yeah. And actually, menopause wasn't even mentioned, actually. I know I'm backtracking myself. I went in just purely, my energy levels are on the floor. What's wrong? Bloods were done. And then she did bloods for thyroid, and it transpired that I had an underactive thyroid. So I was given L-Troxin to take every day. So I started taking that. Then I had pains in my breasts. Now, I don't like doing this test. I can't stand it. But I was getting not chronic pain, but just really uncomfortable tenderness, pain all around here. So I thought, oh my God, I better go check myself out. I'm sure I have breast cancer. So because I wasn't on insurance, I went into my doctor and I said, please, please, please. I exaggerated. I can't sleep a wink. I'm in chronic pain. I wasn't in chronic pain, but I was just determined to get myself looked after. So
well, sure, that's incredibly stressful for you. That, you know, that worry that you think that you've got breast cancer, and you know, that is the age that you have to be careful as well.
Yeah. And so fair dues, she sent me down to a consultant. I got my breast checked over and out, whatever. Thanks be to God, no tumor. So I was relieved. I thought, great, that's written off the list. But there was no diagnosis as to why I was getting these chronic, not comfortable pains, even without touching. All right. So, and then the next thing was, what was it? Oh yeah, started getting these absolutely atrocious headaches. Now, I suffered from hangovers years ago, but I'm not drinking it. I haven't drank for a long time. These were just headaches, feeling cold across the forehead, very uncomfortable, kept going because self-employed, was taking Nurofen, all sorts of things, taking Solvadine, the whole. I said, right, I have to go to the doctor. I went into the doctor again, screened my case. I said, my headaches are just absolutely, I'm convinced I have a tumor. I must have it because it's pounding out through my eye. I want you to refer me to get an MRI or to get a brain scan. So she referred me to Cork. I went down with Michael, got the brain scan, front, back, over and out. Thanks be to God. Very lucky, no brain tumor. But they did say to me that I had capillaries that were kind of dilating. And they said you should get a prescription for migraine headaches. So that's another tablet. Now, this is somebody who's not into tablets. I love alternative herbal remedies. I had, by the way, tried all of this, but it hadn't worked. So now I'm on Zolpidem or Zomig, and I only take half a tablet because there are side effects. Makes you tired. It's exhausting. It also makes you feel a bit nauseous, but then it does do the trick. So then that's now 2 tablets extra that I'm on. So then, as regards my physicality and intimacy with, my now husband, it was to stay as far apart as possible in the bed, because I felt if he came within a hair's breadth, it was like he was like a volcano of heat beside me. I was already burning up. So, that puts a strain, that puts a stress on any relationship. It's not to say one needs to have sex inside, outside, upside down every single night of the week, but
it's a natural occurrence that happens.
Yeah. And then my mojo, on top of that, my own mojo was depleting. Now, I would have been, I would have enjoyed sex with the person that I love very much. But now I don't have any of those type of physical feelings. So then at one stage I was thinking, God, do I fancy him anymore? Do you know what I mean? I actually even thought, do I fancy women? You know what I mean? But I don't. And that was through just self-diagnosis of myself, insofar as that I kind of realized, no, I'm not losing it completely. For me, I'm not, you know what I'm saying? But
don't forget, you've got exhaustion going on there, really tired, you're not sleeping, you're roasting, you've got debilitating headaches, and you've been given medication for altroxin, which is good. It's a good thing to take for your thyroid. But then you've got the medication for your headache that's exhausting you again, because that's one of the side effects.
Yeah.
And you're running a business.
And you're living with other people that you care about.
Yeah.
Which is my husband and my stepchildren and my twins.
Yeah.
So, I was a monster. I mean, I would have been lashing out. I would have been.
What were your moods like?
Oh God! And they still can be, but I'm aware of it. I have to watch it. Ultra sensitive. Low self-esteem. Just full of resentment, because I felt I'm trying so hard to keep going, and yet I still can't get the dinner on the table fast enough, or there's always somebody looking for something. My day never ends. I never get a break. It was all poor me, poor me, poor me. I was feeding into this. But as you said, it's not that I was full of self-pity. It was just mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, I was absolutely exhausted. And there was no point talking to anybody about it. I felt if I say any more, I mean, obviously I'd say to Michael, God, I have a splitting headache, I have to take a migraine. And he would even say, have you got a headache today? You need to, he did his best. But I felt I couldn't share anymore because I just thought he's going to think I'm a walking hypochondriac. Do you know what I mean? And anybody else would, the children would, or if I was to talk to you about it constantly. And as I said, I wasn't meeting my friends anyway.
See, that's a huge thing. That's the thing that you really cut yourself from, wasn't it? Your friends, yeah.
Yeah, and that was me doing that because I felt that I needed to just, I didn't have the money to socialize because I was totally committed to the business. And then I was committed to the business, trying to keep the business coming in that wasn't coming in, you know, trying to look for more business. But anyway, where my turning point came was my stepdaughter had problems with her ovaries, and she was brought to Clonmel Hospital, and I discussed it with a friend, and she said to me, Helen, get her out of there, get her up to the Fem Clinic in Blanchardstown. And we did. And I didn't think Michelle would go, but she did go. And when we were up there, I just went, you know what? I'm going to make an appointment for myself. It's called the Fem Clinic. You know, how black and white can you get? It's specifically for me, for women.
Mm-hmm.
And I made an appointment for the 22nd of April this year. I was only in for about 20 minutes. Her name was Dr. Rita Gallimberti, Italian. She calls herself the vagina doctor. And she physically looked at me and all of the, you know, in my reproduction area. And she was there literally in a very, oh my God, how come you took so long to come here? You Irish, you know? I said, no, it's not the Irish, it's just me. I said, I just was busy getting on with life. And she said, she more or less said, you crazy woman. But she said, I can help you. So I do have vaginal dryness, and it's severe. And, you know, urinary infections, I managed them because my diet, I looked after my diet, but I would be very prone to them because my vagina doesn't help that. Do you know what I mean?
No, yeah.
And even when she scoped me or did the scan, whatever, it was like getting an ice cream covered with cotton wool. That's the wrong, you know, it was dry. It felt awful, just so uncomfortable. So that's how far I've let my vaginal dryness get. So, so now I was on for 2 months, a small dose of HRT every night. It was like in a Tampax, pop it up. And now for the rest of my days, I'll be on 2 to 3 of them. I will literally, it'll be in my, you know, it'll be right beside my bed before I die. You know, it will be to the day I die. It won't be going into the coffin with me, but it'll be there. It'll be there to the day I die. But there's so much more that I need to address as regards. But the main thing is that I've been introduced to HRT.
I think there's a bad rap with HRT, but I think, you know, it's really necessary when it's necessary. And when you're on it, then it's time to do the holistic side of things. Yes, and fix yourself. So like working on the stress, working on time for yourself, making you top of that list. So that if you are in, you know, the best that you can be, then the ripples around you are better. You know, everything works better then. Yeah. And that's what women do. Unfortunately, it's what we all do. We don't put ourselves on top. We put, and that's a big, that's one of my big things, is to make sure, because if you're working really well, you know, in your health and self, then you can, as I said, it's good, and everyone works well then around you.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Yes, so, you know, I'm still on the early stages of this journey. So I haven't got to the holistic side insofar as acupuncture or Reiki or reflexology.
That's your next step.
That is my next step in conjunction with HRT, because just to give you an example, I went for my bloods again. I have to go for my bloods regularly because of L-Troxin. But when I went shortly after that appointment in April, I said to the nurse, I said, will you check my hormone levels? Now, we all know that the hormone levels fluctuate. But the nurse said to me, oh God, no, you'll have to go through your GP for that. And I just looked at her, I said, please, nurse. I said, just take them. I'm paying for it. if there's any rap from Dr. Foley, I'll take it. And so anyway, she did. And I got a phone call back about 10 days later, and it was a male doctor. And he said, oh, I'm just ringing you about your bloods. And I put the phone, I said, I'm here with my husband. I put it on speaker. And he said, oh, your cholesterol is high, your something else is high, and but your something else is fine. And he said, what were you asking for your hormone levels for? And I said, doctor, because I'm a woman and I want to know what my hormone levels are. And I said, what are they anyway? And all he said was, they're on the floor. Now, I know that they're not on the floor the whole time, but that to me was like another dissing of the medical profession as regards women, that their hormones aren't looked after by the medical profession. Do you know what I mean? They're not. And that's why I got on board with the Joe Duffy show, was that, you know, I felt so strongly that yes, HRT and alternative therapy, you know, that we need to take the time to look after ourselves, and it's not all bad. That Western medicine with Eastern medicine works well together.
Works incredibly well together. Yeah, no, it really does. We need the two to work side by side. And those women, I remember listening, and there was an amazing lady on. She was in her 70s, or she could have even been slightly older, and she had 4 or 5 children, and at like she got vaginal dryness. I remember it's really sticking out in my head, and at a very young age. But because of that generation, it was like, you did what your husband said, and she said sex was like excruciatingly painful, and it was something that she couldn't do. So I remember, and it's such a simple thing. And even like, I have a few friends who work in nursing homes, and even old ladies in nursing homes suffer from this. And it's just like simply progesterone cream or something like that prescribed by the doctor, and you just, you know, put it on topically, and it can just give you such relief. And there is such scaremongering about HRT. Now, I come from Chinese medicine approach to menopause, and yeah, but also it is needed. It definitely is needed when it's needed. 100%, I agree with you on that one. So I think you need to do both. You need to come at it.
I mean, I heard that woman. I mean, I literally, it was hilarious, because, you know, I think I told you that Michael and I were coming down from Dublin.
Yeah.
On the Friday the 7th of May. And now we're going to go back to our topic, which our subject we've been discussing over the last couple of days. And either way, Joe, it's the menopause. And I turned it up, and Michael was there. Oh God, he said, I've been listening to that for the last 2 days. And I just went, well, you're going to listen to it now. But we had I have to say, I'm very lucky, because I wouldn't have thought he would be open to that kind of conversation and openness. Now, he's still not on board as regards my memory. He finds it very frustrating with me that I don't remember stuff. I forgot about, brain fog. I mean, it's terrible. I forget things. And then I don't discipline myself to write things down so that I can tick them off and remind myself. I did set the alarm, thank God, for this meeting.
Yeah.
You know, it was great. And I went, oh my God, 10 minutes, brilliant, because I have time, dinner, because I live in London. But yeah, there's just, I think as well, for me, as you said, I did myself isolate from friends for business reasons and for personal reasons as well, but that's kind of changed now. I've come back around the other side, which is great. So I'm growing up, I'm learning, but I do want to improve areas of my life, and I know that I have to make the time to do that.
I think that's so very important. That's like, there's 2 really important things that you've shared with us. It's like that, go to the GP sooner and get checked, possibly go to like the Femme clinic, and there are actually 4 more specialist clinics opening now. They've got, you know, through the hospitals, they're opening these specialist clinics, which is really important. Not to let things go on the long finger and go, we'll be all right tomorrow, but to go and get it checked out. Because women in our 50s, you know, our health is so important, and it's the time that we really need to look after it, because it can be prevention from heart disease, like it can also be a prevention from things like Alzheimer's, because they think that it can be developed. There's more research on that, and that it can happen, you know, not now, but in our 70s.
And dementia.
And dementia, yeah. So those type of diseases. So it is so important to get things checked out. And even if you go in and you're not getting the answers you want, go get a second opinion.
Yeah. Definitely fight your corner.
Yeah.
You know, fight your corner. I'm not afraid of, I never was afraid of authority. If I want something, it was just that I had gone on this journey of downhill. You know, the whole world coming down on top of me. I thought, is this it? And I was getting not suicidal, no. But if I hadn't had other things to help me, I probably would have been, because I really felt, if this is it, I don't want anymore. I mean, it was just, when I think about it, from 2013 up until this year, I didn't get a full night's sleep, right? I did not get a full night's sleep.
For a long time.
And then I now realize that I was perimenopausal.
Yes.
From about 2005, 2006, I had 2 miscarriages. I was told that my body was perfect. I had the body of a 27-year-old. I never thought, actually, maybe I should go see a gynecologist or an obstetrician or somebody that actually deals with women having babies. I just checked myself out and went home and got on with it. Never happened. So I went through bitter times for that as well. But I also, again, thanks to, I'm on another sort of, you know, I'm on a sort of, not a banging drum, and I don't, but I have acceptance of that, because it wasn't meant to be. There's a reason. That's the way I've dealt with it or accepted it, because I have 2 wonderful stepdaughters that are 21. And they've taken me on a journey of motherhood and learning. So, you know, it all worked out in the end. But the fact, or the point of the matter that I'm trying to make, is that I should have got pregnant. I should have been able to get pregnant if I had looked after myself properly and gone to the right person to get help. I didn't. And now I'm 56, 57. And I actually met a lovely lady this morning, and she said, no problem. She said, you should think about having a baby. And I said, I'm 56, 57, and I'm quite happy with it. Oh no, but I mean, look at this lovely lady you're looking after. She had no children. I've had 10 children. 10. She looks amazing, by the way. And she said, you know, you can go, you get help. They just put the baby in you. I'm not even going to go there. I don't want it. I don't want a baby now. You know, I really don't.
You've got the fun times ahead of grandchildren and things like that now to look forward to.
Yeah.
You know?
Yes. Through
your stepchildren.
Yeah. There's still a mental thing there I have to work hard on. I'm just being open, you know. Sometimes
yes, I know.
I still get jealous of that, and I still get, you know, insecure about that. But it all goes back. It leads back to health, you know, self-care, being able to talk and to share, not feel alone.
I think.
And that 2006, I would have felt, I'm all right. I'm a tough cookie. I've survived, and I'm a hero. This is all screwed up thinking. I can get on and I can get pregnant. I'm one of those women that I would have needed a bit of help to get pregnant. Do you know what I mean? I might have been very lucky that I haven't suffered from cancer. There's so many things that I haven't suffered from, but I missed my opportunity of having a baby of my own with the man that I care about very much, because I didn't take the initiative to say, right, even not so much even Lucy. And I had seen on Facebook where you do acupuncture for conception.
Yeah.
I had actually done a little bit with somebody in Clonmel years ago, but I didn't follow through. So again, it leads back that I have to take responsibility for where I am today, you know.
It does, but I think those are lessons that we learn from, and sometimes it's your journey.
Yeah, I think it's definitely my journey.
Yeah. So it is your journey. So I think, you know, it is important. So it goes to show you, it is important to connect with people and to speak to people about things. I know I actually, another friend of ours reached out to me for that reason, for pregnancy. And yeah, she got pregnant and had a baby this year. Yeah, this year, which was lovely, which was really beautiful. Yeah. But yeah, it's important. Communication and love and friendship. When you reach your hand out, people are willing, sorry, I can't say my words, are willing to help you. Yeah. They really are.
No,
yeah.
They are.
They really are. Yeah. Incredible.
So I suppose I don't know whether, because there's a whole other thing going on in my mind and in my journey. But I hope on the menopausal side that, you know, that somebody who might listen to this later might feel, okay, I get Helen, or I understand, and I'm actually going through the same thing, or there is hope. There's definitely hope.
And so to seek help
and reach out and you know, talk and just pick up the phone and ring a friend, or say, can we meet for a chat, you know, or go to you for acupuncture, go and have a chat leading into acupuncture, you know what I mean, to find out more about it, or somebody else that they might know, because I think I'm definitely the proof in the pudding that I didn't do that. And so I'm very grateful I have a feeling of gratitude and acceptance today, and when I'm like that, life is great. If I get a little bit it's not so great, it's like, you know, I feel sorry for myself, and I can get, you know, upset about it. And then the ripple effect isn't good for my stepchildren.
No, that can happen, and it's something that I do really cover. I have a menopause course, so I cover it in the stress module. I have a module on stress and ways of dealing with it, and just setting intentions for yourself. It's really, you know, to have purposes in life, to do things. You know, I think they're so important to have those aims and goals, and they don't have to be, they're not like massive. These are just aims and goals for everyday life. And I think I'll just say this, and then I'm going to thank you very much. Almost like having 3 purposes for the day. So whatever for you, and if this is just your purposes, it's not for work, it's not for anyone else, and it's just your purposes. So when you get up, if it's just getting up and sitting down and having a coffee, looking out the window, if it's like connecting with a friend or sending a message to someone, or going for a walk, you know, just things that you can achieve, so that at the end of the day you go, yeah, that was a good day, I got my 3 things done. I think that's really really helpful. It's something that I do every day, because it makes you feel, you know, good about yourself when you go to bed, rather than chastising yourself for not doing enough. Is what we do a lot.
Yes, we do.
Oh my God, Helen, you've been so amazing, and thank you so much for sharing. And
thanks for asking me. Thanks for asking me.
It's been great. And what don't forget that Helen runs that beautiful country home, Clonacody House, which is there, and I will share a link on, it's Facebook, isn't it, that you're on? I share the Facebook link on afterwards, and also about my menopause course. I call it the Happy Health Life Menopause Program. It's a bit of a mouthful, but it's very, you know, all those things are very important elements in it. And what I can say is thank you.
Thank you. Well, you're so welcome, Lucy. I mean, it's just so welcome, and I hope we see you very, very soon.